Democrats chose one of the top leaders in the Senate, Patty Murray of Washington State, to lay down their new marker on taxes.
Unless Republicans end their commitment to protecting the rich above all else, our country is going to have to face the consequence of Republican intransigence.
The potential combination of all the Bush tax cuts expiring and $110 billion in defense and domestic spending cuts at the end of the year has come to be referred to as the fiscal cliff. Economists have warned that the one-two punch could push the fragile economy back into a recession at the start of 2013. Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell.
What the Democrats are proposing today is an entirely avoidable, high-stakes game of chicken.
The two sides took this fight to the brink the last time the Bush tax cuts were set to expire in December of 2010.
We just don't see why we have to give an extra tax cut to the wealthiest and then an extra estate tax benefit to the top 1/4%.
Democrats lost that battle, but this time they sense weakness in the GOP, with more than half of the most competitive Republican House candidates declining to sign a pledge that vows never to raise taxes. Republican Scott Ridgel of Virginia signed that pledge 2 years ago, but he recently rejected it.
I am saying that expenses must come down sharply to historic levels. Revenue too, must rise to historic levels.
Do you think that the pledge has stood in the way of compromise when it comes to tax reform or debt reduction?
Certainly, in my view, the pledge has worked against finding common ground.
Still, the overwhelming majority of Republicans in Congress oppose letting the Bush tax cuts lapse for the wealthy Americans who they dub job creators. Democrats say it would save about $700 billion over the next 10 years. If the two sides can't find common ground, Scott, middle-class Americans could see a $1,200 bump in their income taxes next year.
But Nancy, a question. Why would Democrats risk alienating middle-class voters with a tax increase?
Well, they think that they have public opinion on their side, Scott, when it comes to raising taxes on the wealthy. They also see a tactical advantage here. If they allow the tax cuts to expire for everyone, they think they would then have the upper hand when it comes to reinstating them for middle and lower income Americans.
Nancy, thanks very much.